Hey, what's up guys, it's Jonathan here. I'm back with another public stock portfolio update. So I'm still trying to figure out the format of these, but I plan to make these a lot less formal than my normal videos. So if you guys have any suggestions of what you would like to see in this video, let me know in the comment section down below. For this video, what I plan on doing is we're going to do a recap of what happened in the markets this week. Then we're going to do a public account recap. We're going to talk about the challenge from last week. Then we're going to talk about important things that we got to watch out for this week that will be catalysts for the stock market. So let's just get into it. So this week was a very interesting week. I remember Sunday night I was making dinner and I got notified of the whole Evergrande situation where it seemed like they're going to default on their loan. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's just something happening in China. Who cares? And then when I started to look into it a little bit more, I was a little worried because it does sound like something that happened in the US in 2008. So I pretty much spent the rest of Sunday night trying to move around money to be able to put myself in position to buy dips. The stock market in the early parts of Monday felt the pain from this crisis that was happening with Evergrande. I did plan on buying, and I actually made a video going in depth about the Evergrande situation and what's going on there. If you haven't watched it and you are interested in learning more about what was going on earlier this week, I encourage you to check that video out. But basically in that video, I also included M1 Finance Pie that I was planning to use to buy into the market. But what ended up happening is that I was creating this pie, and by the time I finished, I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes after the afternoon window closed. So I missed my opportunity to buy into that dip. And my hope was that throughout the week, we're going to see better pricing. I was just going to go and take maybe 5-10% of my cash and go put it into the market then. But basically what ended up happening is that the market just went straight up from there and everyone basically bought out the dip. And that's one of the things that I think we should talk about is that it seems like right now in the market, there's a lot of cash sitting around on the sidelines. And because of that, I feel like any dip that we are going to get is going to get bought up very quickly. This isn't necessarily a message saying that you should go out and FOMO the next dip that we see, but instead be very cognizant of when we do have dips, especially if you want to buy certain stocks or you want to open up new positions, that those are the best times to do so. Anyways, let's continue with the market recap. So the Evergrande crisis came and went. At the Fed's FOMC meeting, Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, talked about many different things that have to do with the economy. But the conclusion of that meeting was that the tapering won't start this month and that it may start sometime in the near future. Ashley just made a video on that on Thursday, and I encourage you guys to check that out if you want more information. Basically what came out of it was that the tapering is going to start in the near future. They're not exactly sure when. In that video I posted on Thursday, I did go into kind of detail of what I think will happen to the different markets and how they'll be affected. So again, I'll defer you to that. Another thing that kind of affected the markets this week, but not really, I think this is going to be more of a next week catalyst. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that till we get through the public account recap. So moving on to the public account recap, let's go into my iPad and I'll show you what we did inside this account. As stated in the last video, we still follow the rules of that we're going to add $10 every week. So this week we added our $10 and now our account balance is at $30.12. I believe in the last video it was at $20.06. So there hasn't been too much movement in it. I opened up a new position and added to a previous position that we already had in this account. So we still have our Tesla that we got when we first opened the account as a gift from Public. If you're interested in Public, and if you're interested in tracking my trades, I encourage you to check out the link down below for Public. They're giving away a free stock when you sign up for an account using that link. But anyways, let's get back to this. There was the Tesla shares that I got as a gift from Public. So the position that I added to was actually Google. I added about $2 to this position this week. Really for me, I don't think Google will necessarily take off in the next couple of years. But I think it's a company that you really can't bet against, honestly. They have so many different streams of income that I just figured, you know what, why not? Their valuation right now, I think, is pretty reasonable. So I decided to add $2 more to Google. A new position I decided to open up in this account was actually Enphase Energy. And if you watch my top 4 stocks video, this was one of the stocks that I talked about. I believe I bought either $7 or $8. I think it was $7 of Enphase, and then I bought $3 of Google. Again, like I've said with Enphase, I really like their business model. They're not focused on those cheap commoditized solar panels. They're more focused on those higher margin inverters, which is where the real money is made in the solar world. Is undervalued. I've been thinking they've been undervalued for quite some time. I remember there was a time during the downturn earlier this year where the stock got all the way down to I think like 120 a share. And this whole year I've just been buying Enphase. In my opinion, I think it's probably one of the most underlooked growth stocks out there. So then, as usual, I kept my Amazon position. There was no changes to this position whatsoever. Again, I've talked about Amazon in multiple videos before. I really think that some of the divestments they made during the Jeff Bezos CEO era are now going to start paying dividends within the next couple of years. You know, even for me as a consumer, I actually just realized Amazon delivers groceries. I never knew that until I think a couple of weeks ago. So I really think that Amazon has a lot of room to grow, even though they are already, I believe, a like $2.2 trillion company or something like that. Absolutely crazy. So that's the public portfolio there. So now moving on to the challenge that we had last week. So at the end of my video last week, I did say that for however many likes I get on the video, I would invest $1 into either AMC or GME. And at the time of this recording, that video got 12 likes. So I figured that putting $12 into AMC or GME is super boring. Like, who cares? If I wanted to waste $12, I'll just go in and out and go get a meal. I decided that instead of it being $1 for every like, I'm gonna make it $10 for every like. So I'm gonna put $120 into either GME or AMC, and I'll put it into the public portfolio. So, and I also plan to buy it sometime within the next week. So when we do the next update, it will show up. So stay tuned for that. So then the next thing I wanted to talk about was important things to watch out for next week. So this kind of ties into the first part of this video. Next week, I really think that the most crucial thing we have to look out for is Congress's actions, more specifically concerning the debt ceiling, the continuing resolution, and the infrastructure bill. Currently, there really isn't any agreement in place for any of this. And to break it down simplistically, the Democrats want to pass the $3.5 trillion human infrastructure bill, and they want to use budget reconciliation. Sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And they want to use that to pass the human infrastructure bill. Also, at the same time, there's no budget in place for the government for next fiscal year, which starts, I believe, Friday. There's also a debt ceiling that's supposed to be hit sometime in mid-October. So what the Republicans are trying to do is they're trying to get the Democrats to use their last budget reconciliation bill to use it to raise the debt ceiling and to pass a continuing resolution to keep the government funded until, I believe, like the first or second week of December. But what the Democrats want to do is they want to use it for their $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan. But the problem with that plan is that they need every Democrat in the Senate, and they need all but maybe, I think, 2 or 3 Democrats in the House to be on board with the package. But currently there are some senators and some representatives that are not in agreement with the human infrastructure bill. It will be very important to see if the leaders in Congress can come up with some solution so they could get all of this passed within 4 days, which would seem almost impossible, but that's really, I think, the biggest market catalyst that we're going to see. The biggest concern with the debt ceiling is that if we raise the limit in a timely manner, it would cause us to default on our loan payments. This will absolutely ruin the United States credit rating. And not only on top of that, but the United States has never missed a debt payment throughout our entire history. So this could have really bad implications for the market. Also, Jerome Powell in his FOMC meeting did state that the Fed will not be able to save the economy if the US was to default on any of their payments. And he said that pretty bluntly and clearly, so hopefully Congress was listening and that they figured this stuff out. But I will say that if we don't see a resolution to this, we may see the stock market get hit hard with fears that we may hit that debt ceiling. So I'll tell you that if you do have money and you want to put in the market, look out for this and kind of watch out for developments when it comes to Congress and what they're doing. But honestly, outside of that, there really isn't any major catalyst I can see on the way coming. But if there is something that you think that may, let me know in the comment section down below, because I only have so much time to look up all this stuff. So that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next update. Have a good weekend.